professional, anybody who's wanting to get into that space. So every company throws large amount of data. Are we looking through the data from all aspects? The idea is data is beautiful, data is everything. It's a gold mine, but are we listening to it? Are we looking through? Are we sniffing the data in the right way? So for large enterprises, the idea is what are the, I'm just trying to find a screen so that I don't have to do too much of head movement. So for every enterprise, there are these roadblocks, right? One is that as the organizations are growing, the data is growing, right? And you don't know how to analyze, right? It's always a certain point of time, till the time it's in Excel, it's nice. You know, X number of rows, X number of columns is doable. But as it grows, right, it becomes very difficult. What rows, what columns are relevant for me? What kind of interpretation can I do? Now, suddenly the complexity has moved from structured data to unstructured data. So you have got the conversational AI, right? You've got the speech analytics sort of data, right? The textual data, the chat data, the social media data, the website cookie data. So everything is pouring in, but everything is customer data, right? For the brand. Can you bring everything together and start making sense of that data? And the third is, as I was saying, these are multiple data sources. Every data point pointing towards the same thing, but are you able to do interpretations from there? And what has been listed by McKinsey is that most of the companies miss on 70% of the data. They work with something that they're able to handle, to be honest, and let go of something which is, a gold. But just because they don't know how to mine that data, I think what I know is what I will work on, and I'll let go of the rest. That's the philosophy, right? So what do you do? If you are able to mine your data properly, right, what will be the outcome? The outcome is going to be classy because you will be able to drive your conversations. You will be able to actually understand which product is working for you, which product is not working for you. What rollout has helped for me, what rollout has not helped for me. So it's more like an adaptive workflow you can bring about. The other is I'm making calls, right? I'm calling this set of people, right? If I'm just reaching out for example, for a recharge of your mobile, right? I'm probably calling from a ACT FiberNet or maybe a Airtel or anybody of that league. Now, if I don't know you well from the brand's perspective, I can be calling you n number of times, and you may or may not pick up my call. You may only be able to talk in English, you may only be able to talk in Telugu, but I'm making calls in Hindi. So it doesn't go well. Now, the complexity is my data is large. I need to tap when should I call up a person, which would be the right time for him to pick up my call. What language should I call so that I can have a good conversation and actual conversions can happen. So that's the crux, right? So if you start mining your data in the right way, it's not only you will be able to get more responsive sort of results, but also you will be able to carve out personas for your customer base, which tomorrow you're doing X today, you want to roll out another, you're solving another problem Y, but the customer base that you have is not changing broadly, right? So tomorrow when you're solving another problem, you can tap upon the same data, the same customer profile to be able to attempt the same problem, a different problem, but the data remains the same. The data, the value that you have created stays intact with the brand. You should only know how to leverage it, how to store it, how to structure it, and how to leverage it when the right time comes. The third is when we are looking through conversational data. Here I'm majorly talking about conversational data, like unstructured conversational data. So if you look through the data, there is a good set of 20% is structured, which is all major enterprises are working with that 20% of the data. But 80% of the data that gets generated is unstructured, that is speech and text. How many companies, how many people are actually leveraging that data? You need core expertise like natural language processing, you need to know big data, you need to know good SQL queries and all of that to be able to tap upon any of this data. But more than that, these are just the fundamental technology aspect that you need to know. But one thing, it doesn't matter you know or not, one thing that you have to absolutely know is a clarity of thought. What is the problem you're trying to address? And these are my variable, identify the right variables and take it forward. So understanding the voice of the customer is the crux at the end of the day. So, let me go back to just give you a quick background about what we are doing, right? So I represent Rezo. I'm the co-founder at Rezo. Rezo is a 4-year-old organization. We are a 60-member team doing 15 lakhs call in a day. Typically, in loose term, you can say Rezo is a call center, but it's a call center, it's an AI-powered call center, right? None of my team, 60-member team that I have will pick up a phone and will make a call. But we have bots which are running at the back end, which are doing 15 lakh calls in a day. And you imagine we are rolling this for multiple brands. In a day, I generate today with the kind of brands, the kind of sales that I have. Obviously, this is going to go expansion. And my co-founder sitting here is responsible for enabling that this should happen flawless, right? So that he gets us the data. He basically stores the data on the servers. And then the data science team basically attempts on that data. So what we are doing, in my mind, is remarkable, because what we are trying to say is minimally, we are not saying that we are replacing humans. We are saying anything that can be augmented, right? Anything that can be taken away to make their task a little easier. You imagine there are brands who do 200 calls in a day, right? Their agent-based calls 200 people in a day, and one call comes out to be fruitful. What if Rezo does those 200 call, and that one call, when it is going to be fruitful, it basically gets you what is happening, who's the person, what is an interest level, and then give you this call to the human agent for conversion. Those 200 calls that a human agent had to basically call, gets frustrated, all of that is eradicated. Correct? And we not only do these kind of calls, we are currently sifting through all sales. We are working with large brand, augmenting their sales, right? So we work with an automobile giant, and the idea is, our task or our ask is get X number of cars on the bay, and the voice bots are calling, we will be able to get those cars on the bay, so that's what we primarily do. So we are doing service, post sales, we are doing sales, we are doing marketing, and all of that just with the power of AI. No human intervention, absolutely. So this is a quick gist of what kind of solutions we have. So we do voice bots, we do chat bots, we do email bots. Now, when these conversations get generated on these platforms, there is a good need to understand what your customer are saying, right? Are they happy? Are they sad about various products? So there is so much data that get generated. If you don't miss on to that data, this data itself has so much information. If you start mining this data, this will give you humongous amount of information and will solve all your problems that the brand proactively is spending. So one rollout, you actually figure out what your customer is saying. You are able to reach out the customer at the right time. You are able to increase your revenue. You are able to solve your sales problem. All of that in one shot. So you just target the problem in a way, draft a solution in a way, you can identify all of that in that one single shot. So when we do those large voice calls, the data that get generated, we leverage agent analytics and customer analytics to actually call out as to who are the good performing agents, what your customers are saying, and likewise. Now, the kind of voice bots that we have deployed, right? These are not regular bots. When we do the rollouts for large organizations, these are bots which would be unstructured conversations that we are doing with them. I'll play a recording. You will get an understanding as to what is happening, and then we will then talk as to what data is getting generated and how can you improve on those calls to be able to do better quality. Is there a voice here? Next slide. Yeah, this one has a voice.
How do you use the human
Yeah, so I'll play a couple of calls. You will get that. And also, it's not that we have improvised every bit, right? We are also improvising. We are doing all sorts of it. So when we do 15 lakh calls, right, there is a script that I have kept, right? So the bot is talking to you in a certain way. Now, that way may or may not get your attention. So what we do is we do an exit analysis there as to what length which user fell off.
Because right now when I am interacting with you, I can interrupt you anytime, and so I don't know how you guys are handling those kind of
Yeah, I'll tell
because
you your experience, right, broadly.
yeah.
For example, you want to get your car serviced.
Okay.
Okay. You go to the dealers, whichever brand that you're working with. You basically put a request there for a for a car service. The moment you put a request, in less than an hour, right, you would get bombarded by 10 different people calling you, right?
Okay.
Is that the experience that you want? Or you want a consolidated one single call, right? Who has time to attend 10 calls, and that too from people who do not know exactly what card you have, when was your last service done, what was the cost that you incurred in your last service, was there a pain that you went through when you got your car serviced, any other issues, right? So all of that, if a bot is calling, bot knows all of that because there is a lot of history that is staying behind, and when the bot calls, it has a memory of all of that. I hear you that it may or may not have, you can't just not normally pause and ask all those side questions, but broadly this is more effective.
Because I can say one thing, there should be one fixed set of questions which AI is asking, and sometimes what happen, a customer is asking some random question. So at the time, what do you do? I mean, instantly you process those data, or you pass that call to any, I mean, agent, I mean, any human, or
Yeah, so we do a mix, right? The idea is when we set up a bot, right? The idea is that not what I will show you is probably like a simpler call.
Okay.
But broadly, the idea is when you have these complicated calls where you are saying that people may ask you all sorts of questions, right? When people are asking all these sorts of questions, so we do a 1,000 K per run initially, right?
Okay.
Let's roll the engine. We've drafted an engine and we roll it on 1,000 users, right? We see where the ball is falling.
Okay.
What kind of additional questions are coming to the bot, right?
Okay.
Then we go back very quickly. We will embed all of those questions in the system with the responses, right?
Okay.
We will roll again. I may be able to now talk to, maybe the first time I spoke with only 5% of the people. Next time I was able to talk to 10% of the people. I'll keep improvising on small set till the time, or on a set that I have, like certain users we have in our workplace who do those initial testings, right? But the idea is you keep improvising with the data. It's not that I will be able to do all improvisation before I roll. So the first rollout may not go very well, but with the data,
so
talking.
with the quantity of inputting
Yes.
data, I mean,
You have to. There is no other way because you don't know the large set. When we do 15 lakh calls, I don't know my 15 lakh customers. Right? The idea is the enterprise has given a script. Sometimes the enterprise also don't know this is a good script or not. They just think technically this is making sense. This has a value. I will be able to get customers with the script. But maybe it is not, this is a script that a human when he was calling was making sense. But when the bot calls, you can actually come to know sometimes that it's a bot. You don't want to talk to a bot. So the idea is you have to get those freebies. If at all there are these offers, there are these conversations. If I can kick off that last time you paid 300 or 3,000 INR just because you did not take extended warranty.
Yeah.
If I say it in the beginning, you will probably, there's a good possibility that you will listen to my call, right?
Yes.
You will listen to the bot call. But if I don't bring this out in the front, in the upfront, and that's the value of AI. That's the value of these bots. You have to, it's not only the conversation. See, a human agent, when they are calling, they have all of this data. They have access to all these databases, and they can technically also listen to these if they want to look through. But nobody looks through, right?
Yeah.
So many times I'm getting a call from the RO, people are calling. I think they probably just put the number and then they forget to delete. They call the same number. I get the call like 20 times in a month.
Yeah. Yeah, basically from the insurance services. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've done one service from
the
one.
idea is
Yeah.
you can't be, it's your customer. You need to treat them well. You need to know whatever the brand has been able to capture about about the customer. You need to have that very clear in your mind, in the bot's mind, or in the agents who are doing the calling, and then take it up.
Thank you.
Good. So we can just play the call.
it's done, then I can put my question.
I know. Let's see if it's coming or not.
Okay. So we run a software company.
नमस्ते इस्माइल जी,
Okay,
मैं
we can
सारा
do it.
बात कर रही हूँ। आपकी कार पीरियोडिक सर्विस के लिए ड्यू है। सर्विस अपॉइंटमेंट बुक करने के लिए हाँ कहें।
हाँ,
कृपया मुझे सर्विस के लिए डेट और टाइम बताएं।
मंडे।
आपको कौन सा समय सूट करेगा?
10 बजे।
क्या आप अपनी कार वर्कशॉप के ड्राइवर द्वारा पिकअप करवाना चाहेंगे या फिर घर पे कार सर्विस करवाना चाहेंगे या फिर खुद वर्कशॉप विजिट करना चाहेंगे?
दोबारा रिपीट।
क्या आप अपनी कार वर्कशॉप के ड्राइवर द्वारा पिकअप करवाना चाहेंगे या फिर घर
वर्कशॉप
पे
के
कार
ड्राइवर
सर्विस
से।
करवाना चाहेंगे? आपका एड्रेस हमारे रिकॉर्ड्स अनुसार H941 है। हाँ या नहीं कहकर अपना एड्रेस कंफर्म करें।
H41 यस।
आपकी सर्विस अपॉइंटमेंट 10 जनवरी के लिए बुक कर ली गई है। वर्कशॉप टीम आपसे जल्द ही कांटेक्ट करेगी। आपका दिन शुभ हो।
Now this is a typical call. It's a direct sales call, right? We are capturing peoples who are wanting to get their car serviced, and we log these appointments. We give it to the brand. The brand will follow up on these customers. So this is a straightaway call looking for an interest. But if the guy, we have a lot of these offers we have built into the bot. If the guy says no, it gets into that no flow where the idea is, can I probe the customer with some offers? Can I probe the customers with other details that last time you paid for your extended warranty? You already have an extended warranty. There is no need to, the cost will be reduced. So on the fly, these kind of offers need to be given out. And the idea is we are mimicking a human agent. Mimicking a human agent, idealistic human agent, right? Because there are a lot of people on the bay, a lot of people at the contact center, but they may not be seeing the things on their screen, right? Effectively, if they see things, RezoBot is basically doing exactly or even better than, because nobody can do so many calls in a day. We go across non-stop. We are operational from 9 in the morning till 9 in the night. That's the effective time we are doing these calls. So there is no limit as to the number of calls that can be done, and these could be sales, this could be service, this could be marketing, this could be anything. This could be lead generation, any sorts of calls. This is another call. Can you play this?
ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਕੇਅਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹਾਂ?
ਮੈਡਮ ਮੌਸਮ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਸੀ।
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੌਸਮ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ?
ਜੀ।
ਪੁਸ਼ਟੀ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੋਗਾ ਤੋਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਮੈਡਮ।
ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਮਦਦ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇਗੀ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਤਾਪਮਾਨ 37 ਡਿਗਰੀ ਰਹੇਗਾ। ਮੀਂਹ ਦੀ ਸੰਭਾਵਨਾ 8% ਹੈ। ਹਵਾ ਦੀ ਰਫ਼ਤਾਰ 28 ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਘੰਟਾ ਰਹੇਗੀ। ਕੱਲ ਦਾ ਤਾਪਮਾਨ 35 ਡਿਗਰੀ ਰਹੇਗਾ। ਮੀਂਹ ਦੀ ਸੰਭਾਵਨਾ 11% ਹੈ। ਹਵਾ ਦੀ ਰਫ਼ਤਾਰ 18 ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਘੰਟਾ ਰਹੇਗੀ। ਕੀ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹਾਂ?
ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ ਮੈਡਮ, ਹੋਰ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ।
ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੇਟੈਸਟ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਈ ਨਰਚਰ ਫਾਰਮ ਐਪ ਨੂੰ ਡਾਊਨਲੋਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਸੇਵਾ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਆਪਣਾ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਦਰਜ ਕਰੋ। ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਸੰਤੁਸ਼ਟ ਹੋ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਵਧੀਆ ਮੈਡਮ।
So these are vernacular calls, right? We are talking to the direct farmers. telling them, they basically call, and this is not something that you can pick up all sorts of flows, right? These are straightforward flows where we know what kind of questions they may potentially be asking, like to answer your question, right? Additional questions have to be embedded in the system to be able to flawless talk. But yes, you are residing on large data sets. It's not only that you will just do the calling, you have to leverage all the backend data to be able to have a more meaningful conversations. And that's what we do. It's not what you're seeing only in the front that is applicable. There is a lot of data that is riding while we are doing these calls. So, when we are leveraging this data, we, these calls, immediately when the calls end, we also bring upon a lot of customer analytics here, because we are able to understand what sentiment has the customer spoken with, what's the emotion, right? What was he saying, good or bad? There are other escalations that he may be doing while the calls are on. So it's not only getting an appointment and giving him the information about the speed of the wind and all of that, but broadly also capturing his concern, bringing that back to the brand for their investigation, or more for helping them improve on their personas or whatever the product that they wanted to do. You had a question.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. Actually, we are running a software company, like for the retailers. And as you just showed that the vernacular is also needed in that case. But since it is a software, we need to show a demo of a software. And what happens that most of the time they do not see the demo. They have a sort of questions, like set of questions in their mind, and they just ask. And our agent, our sales agent, they keep on answering those same questions. So how, like a software demo and all sort of things can be automated through this? Can you throw some light on that?
So you mean to say it for a sales pitch, you mean to say?
Sales pitch, yeah. Yeah, maybe for the lead generation.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So lead generation definitely is very easy. We are doing it for some very large brands. So the idea is there are these Google forms, right? People have come in, they have shown interest. It could be that I would like to buy a house, or I'd like to take a loan, and they have mentioned, for example, Rashi went to X as a brand's website, and I said I'm looking at 3 lakh as a loan, and I left that as a query. Now the brand needs to come back on that mobile number and need to come back to that customer. Maybe he forgot to put the loan amount. Okay. Now, when the loan amount is not there, the bot will proactively call and will say, hey, you reached out to this time, and you didn't mention, we know your name, we know your city, but we don't know what kind of a loan. So it's like a lead validation sort of a thing. We do in a very automated manner. But if you're looking at a sales pitch to be done in an automated manner, that's not practically possible. You just have to little bit know your customer. Like how we do our sales is primarily when we know the brand, we potentially look through what possibly question that they may have, what kind of problem that they may be looking at. We draft these kind of a bot proactively, because for us to do a bot like this is less than an hour sort of a job. Mm-hmm. We'll build this up, or on the fly when the client is there on the call, we have a beautiful system where you can just build this on the fly. My sales team will just build it on the fly, their script, and we will roll it for them. So when they see it, they believe it, and that is how selling will happen.
Okay. The script is given by the customer, I mean your customer? Or?
See, the brand definitely gives the script, but they don't know, because they have been riding the wave in a very, the non-AI sorts, right? So when it comes to the AI way, they don't know. So usually they give a script, or we pick up exactly the same. So we put less burden to the brands. We say, whatever your humans are talking today, the script that you have given to your humans, you give us that as a script. Or if you don't even have the script, give us a couple of 10, 15 recordings of how your agent is talking to your customer. Okay. From there, we built a script for the brand. Okay. So we have specialists who will do the pitch building.
Okay, as you just mentioned that you need to first fill a Google form, and because the customers we are dealing with, they are not that like you just showed that Punjabi one, so they cannot fill a Google form.
Yeah.
So in that case, let's say we have a data of, let's say 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs of customers, like all our potential customers, of course. So for the lead generation, how this AI system can help, and considering the customer is normal kirana wala or the retailer.
I just need to understand. We can talk after this presentation, but I need to just understand your personas, your customer persona a bit better, and then we can. I mean, it's.
I mean,
can
it
tell
is
you.
customized. My question is
Yes.
that it is customized, like it's not only that to a specific segment you are targeting or.
No, no, no. So it's a very customized. So vernacular plays a role. Different scripts will play a role. It's never going to be one win, right? You will
One.
have to keep improvising till the time you get your customers. And for us, the idea is we don't take take it as a turnkey, right? We say that today you're sitting at it's a turnkey targets that we take. That we will be able to get you 50% conversions, right? 60% conversions. So that's the kind of target we take. It's not that you can use my system and you can run a bot. We don't do like that. We're not adding a cost to the enterprise. We go in a very targeted way, a turnkey sort of a solution where we say, your current contact center are able to do X, I will be able to do X plus Y at 1/3, 1/4 of the cost, let's roll. And obviously, that makes sense, right?
Thank you, Rashi.
So this is the other use case that I wanted to talk about. So if you look into Indian Railways, now again, this is a very data sort of a system, right? So Indian Railways is the third largest network in the world, right? They do roughly 2.5 crores travelers in a day. And roughly, if the people sitting there, they would be, tweeting. So every time they have a problem, if the fan is not working, the food is not good, the kid is crying, or they need help or anything of that sort, they can just send out an SMS, or they can directly, there is no WhatsApp there, but you can either send out an SMS, or you could just go to the Twitter and you can say, hey, to the Indian Railways, you can just tag them and you can say, this is my problem. Now, Indian Railways have a set of people, 20, 30 people sitting at the back end who will take these queries and will try to revert to you. But imagine you are traveling from Delhi to Chandigarh. The runway is roughly 3 hours, right? And if you tweet, typical time that Indian Railways, when we were working with this data, they used to take like 2.5 to 3 hours to revert to you. So by the time you say that a hot summer, my fan is not working, right, for example, and you will get a revert once you have reached Chandigarh. So absolutely no use, right? So this is the problem that I have at hand. Now, how do you address this problem? Now, to be able to address this problem, what we did, we realized that there is a lag of 2.5 to 3 hours to get any revert. So we built a bot, we built a system for Indian Railways. Well, we were not working with them, but we wanted to, this was the first year for us, 2017, and we wanted to, this was a nice use case data to represent, to show what Rezo could bring on the table. And again, it's a very data intensive problem, and I'll walk you through those steps as to what was the logic behind, and that's the reason why I took this up. So customer is, let me just take this up. So here a guy wrote, for example, it could be that train number, whatever, is running late by 50 minutes without reasons. Now, or it could be another query saying that, hey, my fan is not working. Let's take that as an example. Now, the moment somebody tags this, I need to know the identity of the person. Because if I don't know, this is a very generic thing, right? My fan is not working. And Rezo wanted to give out a resolution. Not that I will go fix the fan, but I will basically pass on the ball to the right person at Indian Railways who will basically go very quickly fix the fan before the guy has reached Chandigarh. That's the mandate that we are running. Now, when I see this tweet, my first reaction has to be the moment this hits our server, this kind of a tweet hits our server, I need to know the identity of the person. So Rezo writes back saying, please give me your PNR. I don't need to know, is it Vishal, is it Vikas, whoever is traveling. I just need that PNR number. The moment I get that PNR number, I will be able to decode what is the train, where the train is today, right? Which station the train is sitting today using the other sources, right? There are a lot of these sources. And you do a mind map there that you will be able to map that where is the train today. Now, if I have to fix the fan, I have to basically pass the ball to the DM of the next station master, right? To the next station. So all I have to do is I need to first make sense of this query. My fan is not working. Who do I have to pass on the ball to? Where my train is today, right? who is the station master or who's the DM that I need to pass on the ball to in the next. And once I have that map, Rezo was proactively saying, marking that guy, saying that this is a problem that you need to solve. So we were just coming as a bridge between the end customer and the Indian Railways to just helping them resolve this query in a quicker manner. So that was the task that we took upon, and I think we ran this exercise only for 3 days. After that, we were barred, but on Twitter. But broadly, this was a good use case for us because at the end of the first day, people started to tag Rezo because they saw the value. They saw that in a day of rolling, we were able to get them an RCA to the problem or get them to a solution in a much quicker way than what Indian Railways guys were able to do. So that's the story of the data, right? So if you leverage the data in an idealistic manner, right? I don't think they've seen this. I don't think still they've been able to solve this. But the idea is, you have a solution in front of you, right? Somebody has carved that out, right? I'm not saying Indian Railways need to work with me, but I'm just saying in general, solutions are there. You need to look at every problem that you're looking at from the data aspect. And once you have carved a solution, it's then the implementation relatively is I wouldn't say simple, but I would say 80% of the job is done. 20% is going to be just implementing the thing. But if you have put your right thoughts, what is the problem? How are you going to be solving it? What's the crux that you're solving? You can solve it with a lot of data. Any questions here? Now, the last aspect that I wanted to quickly talk about is the typical contact center. This is all human-led, right? Now, what we do, what the differential story that we bring in, right? The idea is, can I score every single human who's there at the contact center and get them to Rezo, while Rezo takes away a lot of load, of the calling, and calling the customer at the right time with the right intent, with the right conversation, with the right vernacular. But what Rezo is not able to address will be still done by the human agents. Now, effectiveness of the human agents is what we are talking about. Can we improve the effectiveness of the human agent? Now, to improve the effectiveness of the human agent, what we have carved out a solution where we are saying, I will be able to give you a scorecard for every single human base who's there, so that they will be able to do a much better talking, so that they can bring in good revenues for the enterprise rather than just being there and spending the day from 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever they have at their hand. So these are critical, right? This is something again done very in a manual manner, and we are trying to do this in an automated manner where we say a human agent, while talking to the end customer, will be greeting the customer, will be adhering to certain script, will be profiling the customer, will be providing resolutions, will be doing hygiene. Can you do all of that in a very quicker manner, right? So let's take an example where the agent said something. What we are trying to do here is we are actually saying with what probabilities has the agent carved out the opening statement. Has he done a good verification of the customer, right? Has he done a compliance, has he mentioned the name of the brand from where they are calling? So brand compliance has happened or not. Then there are other things which come into action. While he's having a conversation with the end customer, how is the conversation flowing in, right? Is he providing a resolution, not a resolution? So all of these aspects we are able to capture in again, it's a data story, like a lot of unstructured conversations is what we have. And with these conversations, we keep a tab on the human agent so that they are able to effectively do a much better job. And obviously, there is a coaching and the training need which can be identified by just mere doing this. Now, the future possibilities with data is you could do emotion, you can identify the emotion quotient, you could do, conversational AI in the digital space. You could, as you were saying, do conversations which are very, very closer to how a human agent would have done a conversation. But this space is very large. It's beautiful. It's all about how you mine your data and how can effectively you can reduce the pain of the enterprise that you're working with. It's good to make revenue, but effectively, are you killing the pain that the enterprise have, right? And they have data. They don't know. That's why you have been hired to do it. Can you do a better job? Because you see a lot of this data. So that's it from my side. Happy to take any questions.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the session. So my question is more on the business perspective. I think what Rezo is trying to do is sort of bringing about a behavioral change with how businesses run, right? So anybody that's trying to bring about a behavioral change, there are a lot of obstacles which we face. So specifically with the use case that you mentioned that 80% of the part is just trying to understand and think what to implement, how to implement, right? So how does Rezo go about convincing the customers or showing to them that yes, you will be able to solve the problem that they have, because that's 80% of the part that you mentioned. So that's just a business perspective that I wanted to understand.
See, obviously, there is no easy answer, right? There are tough clients, and there are somebody who's already convinced. So somebody who is convinced with what AI can bring on the table, it's easy to win a client. Somebody who's not, obviously, you can pitch correct. As I was saying, you pitch. Before you go and pitch them, you have a problem at hand. You know them as well as you can. You do that in a presentation, but broadly. Uh, Somebody who's already baked, right, who knows that they want to go ahead, will go ahead with you immediately. The rest will take will fail, and then eventually they will ride on the wave. So that's broadly what it is. Yeah, but I think 2017 was difficult for us because we were building the brand. Now we have beautiful case studies in the automobile space, in the lending space, in the banking space we are now carving out. So what we have done is we have taken turnkey as a solution, and we are the only company today in the conversational AI sort of space, which is saying that it doesn't matter to us. You can give us the targets just like what you give to a contact center, and we will, at whatever reduction of the cost, which by good 50%, we will be able to get you an enhanced response to what your human agents are getting you. So that as a pitch is basically is a pivot for us.
Right. So I note maybe proof of work as the key to maybe do the
Absolutely,
conversions.
absolutely.
Right. Just a follow-up curiosity question. So since the setting up part would take major of your effort, I believe, in setting up the model, understanding the customer, do you start putting in effort before the conversion also, or do you wait for the conversion to happen?
Before the conversion in the sense?
Before converting a client, do you start putting such
See,
some
it all
resources?
depends. Who are you talking about as a brand, right? If the
Okay.
brand, for some of the brands, we basically go with 80% of the solution done,
Okay.
right? This
Yeah.
is what it is, right? This is what I have built for you. And then we know that, we are there 80%. And then it's all about they doing a POC with
Yeah.
us. But it's different for every brand. It depends. For us, we are greedy for volumes, right?
Yeah.
We don't take up small volumes. For us, the
Okay.
volumes are larger. So when we know that the brand has larger volumes to give us, obviously the effort we put in is proactively. So the team is rocking, right? I mean, we work, classy. We know that we are. I think the pace at Rezo is very, very different.
Okay.
So yeah.
Great. Thank you.
I guess this is what we have. So, guys, thank you for taking out time, Rashi, especially you,
Thank you.
for coming over and making this session more
Thank you
wonderful
so much. Thanks.
and sharing your resume. We have a token of appreciation for Rashi.